overnight, Hillary Clinton clamor. The candidate's regrets about saying this.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorable.
Donald Trump pouncing and the brand new poll numbers, what they reveal about the campaign this morning.
The new Zika concerns the head of the CDC calling out Congress, telling them to act on a spending bill.
By the end of this month, we will be out of money to respond effectively.
The fears about what will happen if the funding dries up as more planes take to the sky for spraying.
And new safety measures, what the airlines are doing in response to the concerns over those exploding lithium batteries in Samsung's Galaxy Note 7. The in-flight announcements, but is that going far enough to keep passengers safe?
And remembering 9/11, 15 years now since the unthinkable.
Put your mask on.
The attacks on American soil that changed so much.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack.
A nation united in grief but not defeated. And the question we as a country are asking this morning, are we any safer today?
From ABC News, live in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America, and many of us may be waking up with the same thought this morning. It's so hard to believe it's been 15 years since 9/11.
You know, and so many of us remember exactly where we were the moment that we heard the news 15 years ago. And today, as we look now at the 9/11 Memorial in Lower Manhattan, the thousands of victims and first responders will be honored.
Yeah, we're going to have much more on the anniversary throughout this show, but as we all know, it comes in the middle of an extraordinarily heated presidential campaign, and there are new developments in that race this morning.
There certainly are. Hillary Clinton is now walking back her controversial comment that half of Trump's supporters can be put in a, quote, basket of deplorables. Republicans, including Trump himself, are pouncing on this.
And this controversy comes at a tricky time for Clinton. A brand new ABC News Washington Post poll shows the race is really tightening. Here are the numbers. She's up 46-41, but that is within the margin of error.
It's been ups and downs all this political season. We're going to talk more about the poll in a moment with George Stephanopoulos, but we do kick off our coverage this morning with ABC's Devin Dwyer, who's in Washington for us this morning. Devin, good morning.
Good morning, Paula. You know, it wasn't the first time that Clinton referred to some of Trump's supporters as deplorables, but when she declared that half of them are deplorable under intense criticism, she quickly issued a statement that she was wrong.
Hillary Clinton expressing rare regret this morning, but offering no apology for her comments.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
In a statement released Saturday to contain the firestorm, she says, "I regret saying half. That was wrong," adding, "I won't stop calling out bigotry and racist rhetoric." Donald Trump and Republicans are on fire with outrage for what she told her donors.
The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
In a statement, Trump calls the comment a grotesque attack on American voters that makes her unfit and incapable to be president for all the people. At a summit of evangelical voters Saturday, running mate Mike Pence put it this way.
Hillary, they are not a basket of anything. They are Americans, and they deserve your respect.
The Clinton campaign says she was only talking about those Trump supporters who've openly advocated hateful views.
That other basket of people are people who feel the government has let them down, and they're just desperate for change.
Republicans see echoes of fundraiser gaffes of the past, like Mitt Romney's private rebuke of the 47% backing Obama.
Who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims.
And Obama's 2008 remark that his opponents were bitter. While Trump has avoided attacks on Clinton's supporters, he hasn't always been kind.
And her supporters have very little enthusiasm.
Now, despite Clinton's regrets for some of her words, her campaign manager this morning is digging in on her broader message, saying Trump's, quote, offensive views and extremist allies are deplorable. Dan and Paula.
All right, Devin, thank you. And for more, let's bring in ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos, who will be hosting this week a little bit later this morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning to you, George. First and foremost, of course, Trump is pouncing on this, and he has tweeted that Hillary just had her 47% moment. What do you think?
And, you know, she had to say she regretted using that word half, but it was very much a sorry, not sorry. statement from Hillary Clinton. I mean, I think one of the things it was a gaffe. I think she would have preferred not to have made it, but you saw in her statement when she doubled down on all the things she finds deplorable about Trump supporters among the quote-unquote alt-right, that she believes that in the end, what she's going to have to do, even if this firms up Donald Trump's support, she's going to use this to energize her supporters as well. And, you know, there is a number in our poll that shows why this is necessary. It shows that 46% of Trump supporters are very enthusiastic right now. Only 33% of Hillary Clinton supporters are very enthusiastic. I think she's hoping that bringing up things like this are going to fire them up.
Well, let's continue talking about this new poll. As we said, she's up by 5 points now, but that's within the margin of error. And the numbers have really tightened in recent weeks. Should this be making Team Clinton nervous?
I think it's a relatively steady lead, actually. It was 8 points about a month ago. That's within the margin of error as well. But she definitely has an enthusiasm problem right now, making sure that her supporters don't drift away to those third and fourth party candidates, Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, as Donald Trump firms up his hold on his supporters. One of the things we see in this poll is that Donald Trump has firmed himself up among Republicans right now. So I think that is something that Hillary Clinton has to be concerned about. But if you look at the fact that she has an even larger lead among registered voters, a 10-point lead, than among likely voters, she's got to do something to get those people who are inclined to vote for her but not there yet mobilized.
All right, George, thank you very much. And I want to remind everybody, George has a big show this morning on the anniversary of 9/11. He's going to be speaking with the Homeland Security Secretary as well as former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. That's coming up on This Week, later this morning, right here on ABC. Thanks again, George.
Thanks, Dan. We want to move now to today's somber anniversary. It has been 15 years since the September 11th attacks, and those attacks changed our way of living as Americans. The victims are being remembered today, and ABC's David Wright is in Lower Manhattan for us this morning. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, Paula. Hard to believe it's been 15 years since that bright September morning when terrorism tragically changed the skyline here in Lower Manhattan and utterly transformed the world in which we live. Like Pearl Harbor was for our parents and grandparents, 9/11 is a date that will live in infamy.
We just got a report in that there's been some sort of explosion at the World Trade Center in New York City.
91% of American adults remember exactly where they were or what they were doing the moment they heard the news.
There is chaos in New York at the moment. There have been not one but two incidents, as Charlie and Diana so ably reported. The second one coming at 9:03. When television was on live and you could see what was clearly a jet aircraft flying into the second trade tower.
The nation transfixed as the Twin Towers, those icons of Lower Manhattan, came down in a matter of hours after 19 hijackers trained by al-Qaeda commandeered 4 U.S. passenger planes. The terrorists also attacked the Pentagon that day, and a fourth jet that might have been aimed at the White House or the U.S. Capitol crashed in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people died on 9/11, more than 6,000 injured. That day sent a generation to war and also brought lasting changes on the home front. We've since spent roughly $1 trillion making America safe, often at a cost to civil liberties, putting all Americans under surveillance to one degree or another every time we board an airplane or use our smartphones. Today, Hillary Clinton lays a wreath at the memorial. She was a freshman senator from New York the day of the attacks. Donald Trump plans to pay his respects, too. The debate over how best to keep us all safe is still at the heart of their presidential race. The statistics show that your chance of being killed in a terrorist attack now are about 1 in 4 million. Statistically, you're much more likely to die in a car crash or in a random street shooting, but the shadow of 9/11 looms as large as that building, the tallest in Manhattan, the replacement of those Twin Towers, and preventing another 9/11 remains job number 1 for any U.S. president. Dan? Paula?
Absolutely. David Wright, thank you. And ABC News has teamed up with American Heroes Channel for a special documentary airing tonight, 9/11, as we watched, a look back at the events of September 11th as they unfolded. We're going to move on now to the man who tried to assassinate President Ronald Reagan back in 1981. This morning, he's a free man. John Hinckley Jr., released from a psychiatric hospital for good this time, now living with his mom in Williamsburg, Virginia. And ABC News senior legal correspondent Sunny Hostin is here with more on the story. Sunny, good morning to you.
Good morning. At the time of the shooting, Hinckley was 25 years old and had an obsession with actress Jodie Foster. Medical experts saying he is now stable, that he no longer poses a danger to himself or others. This morning, John Hinckley is a free man, released from a psychiatric hospital in Washington, D.C., 35 years after his failed assassination attempt on President Ronald Reagan. The 61-year-old will now live with his mother in this gated community in suburban Williamsburg, Virginia.
I would feel very differently about this if I had to live on the same street as he did.
Hinckley was found not guilty by reason of insanity after firing his revolver 6 times at Reagan, injuring the president and press secretary James Brady. But in July, a federal judge ruled that the would-be assassin is no longer a danger to himself or the public. His attorney telling ABC News, Hinckley continues to regret the suffering he caused others.
Because Mr. Hinckley has shown the court that he can obey by the rules and regulations set out by the judge. It's time to try and see how he does on his own without coming back to St. Elizabeth.
Hinckley may have a number of privileges in his new life, including a driver's license and freedom to travel alone within 30 miles of his home. But his release is also bound by several conditions.
He has a GPS on his phone so they know where he's at all the time. Any movements he makes, any website he wants to go on, he's got to get permission to do so.
Hinckley must report to a psychiatric team in Virginia and continue to undergo treatment or could be sent back to the hospital.
All right, Sunny, thank you. And again, he will be living with his mother, 61 years old, but he will be living with her.
That's right, and his mother is 90 years old.
All right, thank you very much, Sunny. Great to have you in studio again. And the fight against Zika is getting a stark and shocking assessment from the head of the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, Dr. Thomas Frieden. He's telling Congress that if they do not act now on Zika funding, the consequences will be financially felt for decades. And ABC's Eva Pilgrim is here with the story. Eva, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. The fight against Zika is running up against a major wall. This morning, the director of the CDC making a public plea for help, predicting dire consequences if nothing is done. The battle to eradicate Zika wages in South Florida, taking to the sky this morning amidst concerns the money needed to fund more missions like this is drying up.
By the end of this month, we will be out of money to respond effectively.
At the same time, Congress looks to end the gridlock over a Zika funding bill that may get another vote this week.
This is obviously an issue we're going to have to resolve this month.
Right now, there are 56 locally transmitted cases of Zika in South Florida. 84 pregnant women have been infected. And despite all the spraying, the city announcing a 4th mosquito pool tested positive for infected mosquitoes in Miami Beach.
In the coming weeks and months, we will see, unfortunately and tragically, many more babies born in Puerto Rico and in the continental U.S. with microcephaly and other birth defects.
For those who live in Miami Beach, concern this morning. Those numbers could grow if the fight has to be scaled back due to a lack of funding.
I have to spray my son 2-3 times. He looks like a glazed donut by the time he gets on the bus in the morning because I have to spray him constantly.
If we don't eradicate it now, when is it going to stop? How many more unborn children are going to be affected?
A health officials telling us it can cost over $10 million to take care of a child born with microcephaly over their lifetime. They're still trying to figure out what happens to babies who are exposed to Zika in the womb, but no question, these are decisions that have the potential to impact us for decades to come.
And so many families as well. Eva, thank you. Appreciate it. Time to check the other news this morning, and for that, we kick it over to Ron. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning to you, Dan and Paula. Good morning, everyone. We begin in war-torn Syria, where the news of an impending ceasefire was followed by a day of intensive airstrikes by government forces that killed and injured dozens in the northern city of Aleppo. Warplanes also bombed a marketplace in the rebel-held city of Idlib. At least 37 people there died in that attack, according to a British human rights group. The ceasefire between government and rebel forces that was negotiated by the U.S. and Russia, that is due to start on Monday. And back here in the U.S., multiple decks collapsed and pancaked at an off-campus house party near Trinity College in Connecticut. 31 people, most of them students, were taken to nearby hospitals, but no one was reported seriously injured. Authorities say it appears the third-floor deck fell onto the second deck, which then crashed down. Investigators say the wooden decks appear to be old and deteriorated. And a Florida teenager who got in trouble earlier this year for allegedly posing as a doctor, he's under arrest again, this time in Virginia, charged with various counts of fraud. 19-year-old Malachi Love Robinson was arrested at a car dealership after allegedly trying to buy a luxury vehicle. Police say he lied about his income and tried to get an elderly woman to co-sign on his loan without her permission. And this woman, in this famous 1945 photograph, that photograph known as The Kiss, she has died. Greta Zimmer Friedman was 21 years old when a sailor she had never met grabbed and kissed her in New York City's Times Square during celebrations marking the end of World War II. Friedman died in a Virginia hospital this past week. She was 92 years of age. And in women's tennis, there's a new #1 player in the world. Not Paula. It is Angelique Kerber of Germany, who captured the U.S. Open on Saturday, and with that win, dislodging Serena Williams as the top women's player, at least ranked women's player in the world. Kerber defeated Karolina Pliskova of the Czech Republic 2-1. Kerber is now a two-time Grand Slam champion. And finally, this is a good one from the world of college football. Central Michigan upsetting Oklahoma State in the final play of the game, a play that should not have even happened. Because of a penalty called on Oklahoma State with no time left, Central Michigan was allowed to run one final play with no time on the clock. You see it there, a Hail Mary pass, and then a lateral that leads to Central Michigan winning 30-27 when he gets in there. But after the game, officials said they made a mistake. Central Michigan should not have been awarded that extra play. Doesn't matter. The result stands.
Why?
It's complicated, but it has to do with
don't have enough time.
when there's a penalty at the end of the game, which allows for loss of down, the game ends. So they had a penalty that should not have allowed the game to continue.
Let me just say, I don't understand, but I disagree. See, I disagree.
Well, it's weird that they can't overturn the result because the referees were wrong.
Yeah, especially when they admit that they were wrong after the game.
They admitted they were wrong. They were wrong.
It's all a conspiracy.
Central Michigan wins.
To make for more excitement on the second weekend of college football.
By the way, you survived, and great coverage from game day yesterday.
It was the battle at Bristol in more ways than one, and it started at 7 a.m. Eastern time. My goodness, what a game last night as well. Tennessee and Virginia Tech. I want to take you to Cincinnati, Ohio, where they had a little bit of rough weather last night and yesterday afternoon with some storms that brought down some trees, which took down some power lines. And even still this morning, there are some folks that are without power, all in advance of this storm system or cold front that's going to be pushing across the Northeast. Take a look at these numbers right now. These are actual temperatures at 7 a.m. Eastern time, 77 degrees in New York City. 55 in Chicago. So here comes a cooler, drier air coming in across the east. And there'll be some showers and storms with this, I think, mostly north of New York City, but there's a chance until it comes through around noontime, and then widespread sunshine here with very low levels of humidity, although the beaches in the Great Lakes could be a little bit rough with some wind there. A weak disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico, so some showers expected from I-10 down across the Florida Peninsula. Speaking of the tropics, we do have a couple of areas of disturbed weather. None of real posing a huge concern. The greatest chance of development is this one way out here in the Atlantic, but our computer models show it going out to sea, so that is good stuff. By the way, if you live on the West Coast, it should be a beautiful day for this first day of the NFL season. That's a quick check of the national forecast. Here now is your local forecast.
Early in the morning, it's the dawn of a new day. New hopes, new dreams, new ways. I open up my heart and I'm gonna do my part. A positively beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Good morning, America.
Continuing with this blend of news, weather, and sports, Ron forgot to mention the Yankees won their 7th straight yesterday, and I think they're 3 games out of first place.
It was great.
Yeah,
yeah. One game back in the wild card.
Love September.
Yep.
And by the way, it took that entire time for Ron to really explain to us what happened at the end of
Coherent.
Oklahoma State.
It
took like 5 minutes.
Yes. I still don't understand it. But I admire Ron maintaining his objectivity when it comes to the Yankees, which will never happen.
Always.
Love you, Ron. Today, by the way, speaking of sports, marks the kickoff of the first regular season Sunday for the NFL. Teams will be taking a moment to remember the victims of September 11th. And it all comes, as we all know, amidst the clamor over those players who've been protesting the national anthem. And ESPN's Tony Reale is on the story. Hey, Tony.
Good morning, Dan. It's been 3 weeks since Colin Kaepernick first protested the national anthem. And since then, 3 players have joined him by kneeling on the sideline. With the NFL planning a league-wide tribute for the 15th anniversary of September 11th, the spotlight is firmly on those sidelines, and one team is ready to make a statement.
This morning, the Seattle Seahawks announcing they'll stand together and link arms in unity during the national anthem.